Fox 10 investigators returned to what's called the Zone, home to the largest homeless encampment in downtown Phoenix. At one point this year, the number of unsheltered people living there reached more than 1,000.
Well, business owners are fed up with the crime and the drug use and the unsanitary conditions, and now the city is even being sued over the Zone. Tonight, Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum takes a deep dive into the crime that is linked to the Zone.
We wanted to know exactly how many times police have been in the Zone for crime incidents since a federal ruling in a landmark case prohibited the criminalizing of unsheltered people living outdoors when there's no available shelter indoors. Hundreds are living in this concentrated area of downtown between 9th and 13th Avenues from Jefferson to Jackson Streets, where property owners are affected by crime they believe is very much underreported. Not far from the state capitol building is what you call a classic. Place to grab a sandwich during your lunch break, serving Phoenicians for decades. Not much has changed inside Old Station Sub Shop since Joseph and Deborah Fallaci opened doors in 1986. Yet so much surrounding this family business has.
I called the mayor's office, the same old story. What do you think we should do about this? Well, how do I know? I'm just a sandwich maker.
A sandwich maker working on the outskirts of the Zone, what may be the heart of the homelessness crisis in Arizona.
Yeah, I can get you some water.
2 blocks away lives Joel Copeland and his wife, front and center to the Human Services campus.
Here's one cold for now, and here's one frozen for later.
A hub for the state's largest homeless shelter with various resources that have been strained for years. There are just as many people living on the outside than there are shelter beds inside. At last check, nearly 900 homeless people living on the streets.
I'd come in the morning, people would be sleeping at my front door. People would be sleeping at my pickled buenos. People would be sleeping on my tables.
Back at Old Station, the Fallaci say crime has cost them hundreds of dollars a month spent on cleaning supplies.
We have to clean the properties, we pick up trash, we pick up water bottles, we pick up toiletries, then we have to pick up defecation, we have to bleach for the urination, so it's a lot.
Meanwhile, inside Gallery 119, Copeland's hidden gem, he's painted what he's witnessed living here.
Street fights, being under the shade of one single palm tree. Drugs and mental illness go right hand in hand, and there's all of that. And on any day, you'll see people doing all kinds of just crazy things. I mean, swinging around, screaming at people that aren't there, swinging at the sky, passing out in the street. It's a common thing.
Digging through Phoenix PD's crime data reveals police responded to 801 incidents in the Zone's area since 2019. The most reports happened in 2020 with nearly 280. There was a 26% decline in 2021, but with 185 incidents so far this year, Phoenix PD's response to crime in the Zone is on pace to surpass last year's total.
We've seen knifings, there's been shootings right down the block. We had some guy shot right across the street a while ago. I mean, it just gets to the point where the unconscionable, when that becomes normal, then something's got to be done.
Theft ranks at the top of crimes in the area with nearly 300 cases since 2019. Over the same time period, police responded to about 230 aggravated assaults and 130 drug offenses.
I mean, fentanyl is everywhere. I mean, you can find them lying on the sidewalk.
Robbery, rape, and burglary follow those crimes. Since 2019, police investigated 6 murders in the Zone, but where are crimes happening exactly? 50% are reported on the street or sidewalk. Phoenix PD responded to nearly a third of crimes at homeless shelters in the Zone.
No, not everybody gonna tell on you out there.
JR, who's lived in the Zone for 8 years, says crime is underreported. After a long wait for a housing voucher, he has his own apartment, but sees the homelessness crisis getting worse here.
People lost. Walk around and talk to themselves. They don't know where to go. They don't got no help.
Calling it a third world country, I think, would be a disservice to third world countries in a way.
Elon Werman is a law professor at ASU who represents 15 plaintiffs, including the Fallacis and Copelands, in a lawsuit against the city. The claim says Phoenix neglected the homeless encampment and allowed it to become a public nuisance. Werman says the city is taking advantage of the ruling in the case of Martin v. Boise. A 2018 decision by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit held that cities cannot enforce anti-camping ordinances if there aren't enough homeless shelter beds.
But the city of Phoenix has used the Ninth Circuit decision, which again is very narrow, as an excuse to totally abdicate its responsibility for this crisis.
Worman says the ruling should not prevent the city from enforcing laws against drug use, disorderly conduct, and public urination or defecation.
14-10-4.
The Falachis have stopped calling police. They're simply tired, yet they keep opening their doors.
That's very depressing. You know, I'm very depressed. I get up every morning with a knot in my stomach. It's what I have to deal with.
Coming up in part 2 of our report at 10, what about the Phoenix Fire Department? How often have crews responded to the zone? I'll tell you how presence has increased. I'm Justin Lum for Fox 10 Investigates.
Okay, Justin, thank you for that. If you have something you'd like the Fox 10 investigators to look into, you can submit your story at fox10phoenix.com/investigates, or that QR code there on your screen. Just scan it with your camera app on your phone and it will take you directly there.
Fox 10 News is back.
Tonight, a deep dive into the activity plaguing the Valley's largest homeless camp. Fox 10 has covered the zone in downtown Phoenix extensively. Problems like trash, violence, and drugs, they are well documented, and of course, strained resources. Well, in part 1 of the special report, we showed you how much crime in this one area has been reported to police. In part 2, Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum reveals that the Phoenix Fire Department is responding to one part of the zone nearly 4 times a day.
I try to keep cold water. You know, if I got something to eat cooked up, I don't mind feeding you.
JR knows what it feels like to be in need. That's how he met Joel Copeland and his wife when he lived on the streets in the zone.
His wife say, "You can't go back. You can't go back out there. You gonna stay here until you get your house."
The Copelands own an art gallery there and have seen the largest homeless encampment in the Phoenix metro area swell to what it is today.
I know everybody wants change. Nobody wants to see this like this.
How many people have you seen die since you've lived there?
And I done watched in the last couple of weeks. I done seen at least 7.
Different reasons?
Heat exhaustion.
So far in 2022, there have been a little more than 150 heat-associated deaths in Maricopa County, a 35% increase compared to last year at this time. Nearly 80% happened outdoors.
It just hurt every day to walk out here and see somebody getting carried out of a tent.
We specifically looked at the Phoenix Fire Department's response to the Human Services campus on South 12th Ave and Madison Street, the city's nonprofit hub of service providers for those experiencing homelessness. Fire Station 1 is the closest station to the zone. Since 2019, there's been a steady increase in calls for service, spiking in 2021 with nearly 1,100 calls. And so far this year, a little more than 900 calls, on pace to surpass the 2021 total. This would be the second straight year Phoenix Fire responded to the HSC area at least 1,000 times. Calls vary from illnesses to assaults to overdoses.
What was the last thing you smoked? Spice? Okay. Spice, yeah. That explains it.
How long ago did you have the spice, boss? Just a few hours ago?
This video was taken by a property owner in the zone, activity that's become normalized outside businesses in the area.
We have all kinds of stories, you know. Remember the one lady that was in our bathroom washing her clothes and hung them out on our fence line to dry, you know, during our lunch hour.
One time I walked into my restaurant, somebody had broken in, and she goes, "What are you doing here?" I go, "Well, this is my restaurant." She goes, "No, this is my restaurant."
The Falachis own the Old Station sub shop and say they mostly deal with public defecation on their property. So did the Copelands before they had fencing put up to close their alley.
The back alley used to be the bathroom for the community.
Since 2019, 97 reports regarding homelessness issues in the area of the zone have been sent to Phoenix Cares, the city's program to address neighborhood concerns. That's an average of just 2 complaints a month. Business owners like Falachi have given up on calling police to report a crime, let alone reporting human waste to the city.
I'm tired. I come to work and I need to work. I don't have time to call the police. And you know, it's hard to get police nowadays, they're shorthanded.
And it is an absolute humanitarian crisis.
The Copelands, Falachis, and several other plaintiffs are suing the city of Phoenix. Elon Werman, one of the attorneys who filed the lawsuit, demanding the city do something about the public nuisance he says leaders ignored.
But our understanding on information that we've received as part of this lawsuit is that the City of Phoenix police have been told by the mayor and the other city officials not to enforce these various laws, again, because the city is misinterpreting the Ninth Circuit decision and is using it as an excuse to abdicate responsibility over the homeless crisis.
Werman is referring to the federal ruling known as Martin v. Boise that stops unhoused people from being punished for living outdoors due to lack of indoor shelter. But Mayor Kate Gallego's spokesperson says there's no truth to the allegation that she's told police not to enforce laws in the zone, and the city cannot talk about pending litigation. An extension has been filed for the city to respond to the lawsuit.
Look at these people across the street sleeping right there on the ground. They sleeping anywhere they can sleep. Eating out of garbage cans, man, that's not cool.
The mayor's spokesperson did point to Operation Gun Crime Crackdown as a strategy to bring down crime. She also mentioned contract extensions with several homeless shelters worth $10.6 million. For a full breakdown of crime stats and calls for service in the zone, head to fox10phoenix.com. I'm Justin Lum for Fox 10 Investigates.